Welcome to the Explainer. Today, we're going to do something super useful. We're taking a real AQA GCSE Physics exam question and tearing it apart. We're not just looking at the questions, oh no. We're digging into the official answers, so you can see exactly what gets you those top marks.
Have you ever wondered what's really going on in an examiner's head? It's not always about just knowing the stuff, right? It's about how you say it, how you write it down, making sure it matches what they're looking for. Nailing that perfect answer, that's a skill. All right, let's get into it.
So, the question we're tackling today is question 05. This one's all about electromagnetic waves. And honestly, it's a great one to look at because it's got a bit of everything you'll see on the exam. Some quick recall, a calculation, and even some tricky definitions. Okay, so here's the plan. I'm going to show you each part of the question one by one. And as I put each one up, maybe just, take a second. Think about how you tackle it before we get to the answers. It's a good way to test yourself. All right, first up, question 05.1. A classic one-marker. Super straightforward, just give one use of ultraviolet light. What's the first thing that pops into your head?
Okay, next is a multiple choice. Now this one's a bit sneaky. It's not just physics, is it? It's also testing if you know your standard form and prefixes. You know, how we write those really massive or tiny numbers. Gotta know your nano from your micro.
And here it is, the big one, the calculation question. This is worth 3 whole marks, which is pretty juicy. So you've got to know that wave speed equation. And, super important, you've got to show your work. Moving on, we've got a matching game. Simple as that. This is just a straight-up test of what you remember about the electromagnetic spectrum. Do you know which wave goes where based on its wavelength?
And to finish off question 5, we've got a 2-marker asking for a description. Now with these questions, your wording has to be spot on. Every word counts if you want to get those marks.
Okay, so you've seen all the parts of the question. Ready for the big reveal? Let's look at the answers. And I mean the perfect answers, straight from the AQA mark scheme. This is the real key to unlocking those top grades, seeing it from the examiner's point of view. So for that first question about UV light, check this out. Look how many correct answers there were. I mean, wow. Suntans, energy-efficient lamps, sterilizing equipment, the list goes on. You only needed one, but this is a great lesson, right? It's always a good idea to have a few examples up your sleeve.
Now, for that tricky multiple-choice question, there is only one right answer here. The key is remembering what nano means. It's 10 to the power of -9. So you take your 300, you multiply it by 10 to the -9, and when you pop that into proper standard form, you get 3 times 10 to the -7 meters. Simple when you know how.
Okay, the 3-mark calculation. This is where showing your work is everything. You literally get 1 mark just for putting the numbers into the right equation. Then you get another for rearranging it to find the frequency. And the final mark is for the correct answer, with the units. So even if you mess up the final number, you can still pick up marks along the way. That's why you show every single step.
And what about that matching question? Well, the right answer was E to X-rays, F to visible light, and G to infrared. But here's the kicker, and you've got to be careful with this. The mark scheme is crystal clear. You had to get all 3 right to get that 1 mark. No half points here. It's all or nothing.
All right, let's wrap this up by looking at that final definition question. It's only 2 marks, but these are the kind of marks that can easily slip away if your wording isn't absolutely precise. Okay, so here's what it all boils down to. It's about 2 key words. For a transverse wave, the vibrations are perpendicular to the direction the energy is going. But for a longitudinal wave, they're parallel. That's it. Perpendicular versus parallel. Getting that one word right is the difference between getting the mark and not. And here's a little insider secret straight from the mark scheme. It actually says you can say direction of wave travel instead of direction of energy transfer. So you see, there's a tiny bit of wiggle room in the phrasing, but the main science bit, that perpendicular or parallel part, has to be perfect. So we've just spent all this time on one single question. What's the point? Well, the big takeaway here isn't just about physics, is it? It's about a strategy. It's about a smarter way to get ready for any exam. So let's break down the main strategy points. 1, for those give-a-use questions, learn a few examples. Don't just rely on one. 2, with calculations, show every single step of your work, every time. 3, those definitions, you've got to memorize them, know them inside out. And 4, just remember that sometimes a question is all or nothing. You need to be perfect to get the point.
Which leads me to the biggest point of all, really. How are you going to use this knowledge? The mark scheme isn't just an answer key. It's like a cheat sheet for understanding how the examiner thinks. If you start using it to study, you're not just learning physics, you're learning how to score marks. And that can make all the difference.